that portion that you talked about, that invisibility. So in last week, I referenced the low numbers of representation that there already are holistically with African American leaders, period. But when you look at Black women at the secondary level, the article described us as unicorns because it's almost unheard of at a astonishing 4%. And what it described us as is described it as institutional invisibility and institutional silencing. So when you're not even brought to the table, even though there are in very little numbers, but there is research to show that our impact is impactful. That speaks volumes to our cultures of our education system. And the other thing that I wanted to bring light to is it talked about black principals serve schools with relatively higher percentages of students who are eligible for free and reduced lunch, higher percentages of students of color. And but what they also found is that Black women principals were associated with a higher level of teachers' collective responsibility as perceived by teachers, and higher math achievement scores among students. There was also a positive association between principals' instructional leadership behaviors perceived by teachers and female principals. So I think it's very important for us to bring these things to the forefront, like you said, not to try to heighten anyone over anyone else, but to take away that invisibility, to take away that silencing, to help people, institutions, and organizations check their bias, because this is something that needs to be done, not just in education, but in several industries.
And I think one of the more important things that we have to really take note of when we're talking about Black women leaders in general, but especially when we're speaking to that institutional silencing that you just referenced and that invisibility, we have to make sure that even we, as Black women administrators, recognize the power of the lived experiences that we have. That's what my research focused on. You need to be willing to share that story so that the next generation of Black women leaders, or the next generation of Black women who aspire to be educators, know that you don't have to sell yourself short. You are created and designed and intricately to be who you are, but that you have to appreciate that. And instead of shying away from who you are, or feeling the need to bite your tongue because you're in a meeting and you really feel like you need to emphasize what is on your mind, you need to feel free to be able to have the liberty and be at peace to make that happen. You have to have a voice. If somebody else has muted you, you have to come out. Well, I mean, like Sheka had muted me at the beginning of this. You have to come off mute so somebody can hear you. Because if you don't use your voice, then that silence continues. And what you're going to find if you do any level of research on this topic is that silence is deafening, because your voice really does need to be heard. And I'm going to share just one more thing from the article, because I know it's time for us to start the wrap up.
Mike was muted. Great morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us. I am Dr. Sheka Houston, and my trust mate in education here, Dr. Tammy Taylor, and I are coming to you as we do every Saturday morning at 10:30 in the R.E.A.L. Academy. And that acronym R.E.A.L. stands for Respect, Excellence, Accountability, Literacy and Numeracy, and Leadership. And it's the part of the framework that we created when we improved our schools. 2 report card grade levels in 1 year for me, 3 report card grade levels in 1 year for Tammy at the elementary level. And we are proud to say finally, that we are completely off of any list in the state of South Carolina. So kudos to our staff members that did that hard work along with us. But this week, we are bringing you something different in honor of Women's History Month. And I'll let Tammy say good morning. Good morning, Tammy.
Good morning, Sheka. And good morning, everybody. Super excited to be here with you guys this morning.
But in honor of Women's History Month, we did create a series, and you saw just a little bit of it during the pre-show from a collection that we had recorded previously. It's called The Impact of Black Women Leadership, the series. And in the comments or the part above this, the advertisement for this, you'll be able to see the link that will take you to the Google Doc that will allow you to access all of those previous recordings. But for the month of March, we will continue our talk about this morning, Black women leadership. This is what it looks like. And the point of this really is to really kind of get rid of some of the negative connotations that goes along with Black women in leadership, the bias that exists, the stereotypes, the negative things that you hear. We want to change that narrative where you're hearing the positive things about Black women in leadership, and also talk to you about the mentoring program that we offer for Black women in leadership as Black women leaders who have successfully improved and run our schools as well as our business. So this morning, the first thing we're going to touch on, so leadership for Black women, what does that look like? And we're pulling part of this conversation from a great article that we found that highlighted some great things about Black women in leadership. The first one says that Black female leaders naturally cultivate a sense of family with a shared purpose, regardless of setting. And in doing so, they develop teams of committed, engaged, and highly driven individuals. And another part of it talked about how this is something that Black women have done for centuries, where they were the people that were not just caring for themselves, but caring for their families, making sure the network was connected, making sure that everyone in the calls were on the same page and on the same line. So I think as Black female leaders, we do have this natural sense of being able to cultivate that because we are family oriented people. And I think you even found some of that in your study.
Definitely. When we talked with you before about the characteristics of Africana womanism, this solidifies the point that when men, uncles, brothers, husbands, fathers look to the females in their family, they often look to us as the ones who are going to make this happen because we depend on God to make a way out of no way. And that cultivation of just knowing that we're able to do this shows up in the work that we do in leadership, but it also shows up in our everyday lives. And like Sheka was talking about, that cultivation of highly effective teams that are committed and engaged and driven to do the work that's set before them is what got us where we are. We were able to build those teams to be committed to the cause. Our cause, of course, was coming out of school improvement. And thankfully, we were able to create those teams to make that happen.
I remember in an interview that one of my HR directors, he sat in on this particular interview, and he paused after I kind of gave my spiel about my little elevator pitch about the school. And I said, well, what's wrong? Did I say something wrong? And he said, no, I'm just listening to you. I'm captivated by what you're saying about the school. And that's one of the things that we teach in our mentoring program. If you are leading an organization, leading a school, there are some things that you should be able to quickly tell people about that organization in the business world, we call it an elevator pitch or speech, but it entails telling them your vision, what your focuses are, what you stand for, and people will know immediately if they want to align to that or if it's something that they want to be a part of.
Absolutely. And that's a part of really finding those just right people. And I like Sheka have my own way of vetting. Like you're talking to people, but you're being completely honest and raw about where you're coming. This is who we are, and this is what we do at Great Falls Elementary School. You know, are you sure you want to be a part of this? And I think interviewees appreciate that because sometimes people are really eager and excited to join the team. I've had people to relocate to be a part of our team, but sometimes people aren't. They're like, no, if I want to work that hard. So I think it's important, though, to just know that that is a strength of the Black woman leader. She's able to cultivate those teams that can be considered get it done teams.
The next point that we wanted to talk about under this topic, what does Black women leadership look like? Black women are inspirational leaders that motivate, encourage, and affirm others because they uniquely understand the detriment of not doing so, often coming from the firsthand experience of being left out of highly coveted network circles within the corporate environment. And in the posting of the show, I listed how poorly Black women are represented a lot of times in corporate America, being 7% of representation in school leadership, 3.8% in middle level management, 1.2% represented in executive and senior executive leadership, and 0.2% at the CEO level. So we definitely want to put that out there that Black women are motivational, encouraging, inspirational leaders who encourage people, and they are left out a lot of times of networks and circles, which doesn't create that pipeline in order to continue to build the leadership and the capacities of Black women. So again, this is what we are trying to change, that narrative. And one of the ways I used to inspire my staff and my students was through the town hall meetings where I would, give them that our reason behind our purpose, our why we were doing what we were doing, letting them see that, we're all in this together, we can all do this. But many times after those meetings, staff members would come and say, wow, that really did motivate me this morning. I feel, a lot better. And that is something that we as Black women are able to do a lot of times, is to inspire people. I pride myself on being able to inspire people to see themselves as the best versions of themselves so that they can perform at their best.
Absolutely. And one of the things that Sheka takes pride in her town hall meetings and her ability to inspire. And I take pride, genuine pride, in the fact that I know that not only was I inspirational, or am even inspirational and motivational, but I'm very encouraging and affirming to my staff. So if nothing else, I've learned that you have to build people and build that capacity for what it is they're doing so that they feel like you understand, because and this is what we discovered in this research, that it says that Black women are inspirational leaders that motivate, encourage, and affirm others because they uniquely understand the detriment of not doing so. And that sometimes if it doesn't come from you, or if you're not there to be that motivator, that encourager, people get faint and they feel like they have given all they have, and this still doesn't look like it's changing. I'm in here and I'm exhausted going home every day, and I just I'm giving up, and that kills your culture, because what you want them to understand is, listen, we're all in here going home tired together, and this is a part of the process. We will get through whatever it is we're working through. And as I said before, one of the things that we were trying to work through is that school improvement process, which has helped our folks to know, hey, this hard work does actually pay off.
Exactly. And Principal Sherrod Laws has a question: how often were the town hall meetings? Every Monday. So every Monday, I would start maybe just a little bit before, maybe 15 minutes before the first bell would ring. And we were doing it on Zoom. We used to do where before dismissal from the cafeteria area at breakfast, I would bring the grade levels into the auditorium. That was before COVID. So then we started doing it on Zoom. But every Monday, and my expectation was that after my town hall meeting on Monday, the teachers would continue that message of building that community within their classrooms the rest of the week. So there would still be some form of a community building morning type meeting after my town hall meetings on Monday. But there's a unique way that we can also show you how to do that. Thank you for asking that question. And the next point is Black women succeed by using their authentic leadership skills to identify, develop, and grow talent and build highly collaborative groups and teams while working on the sidelines. And you have to have a team in order to have any type of improvement to move forward. There is nothing that anyone has done greatly by themselves as individuals. You have to have a team of people working with you when you're taking on an audacious task, such as a large organization with multiple people, such as moving a school from unsatisfactory up 2 or 3 levels or more. You have to have teams. And the key word in here is that the teams have to collaborate. That's one of the things I struggle with working at the district level. Sometimes people work individually in a silo, but getting people to collaborate sometimes is a difficult task. It was even something that's hard to do at the school level, because you have some teachers who feel like, well, I just work better by myself, or I don't want to share my strategies. And you have to make them understand that sharing is what's going to make us all better. These are all of our children. This is our report card rating, and what people see about the school is what they see about everyone in here. So we have to work together as a team in order to move forward. And sometimes you have to have those critical conversations with people to get them on board, because it takes that collaboration to make it happen.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I think is absolutely incredible about this particular point is the fact that we are doing this work from the sidelines. You are empowering these groups and teams of collaborators to get the work done and to be a part of what is happening in real time. You're kind of that guy from the side, and you're not the person who is taking on every aspect of the leadership that has to happen throughout any process that you're involved in, because you cannot do this work alone. And Sheka said that before. This is not something that can be accomplished by yourself. So we just want to encourage you as you move forward in any aspect of your leadership to build the capacity of your people. Make sure they understand that you guys are all working interdependently, and what I do impacts what Sheka does, and what Sheka does impacts what I do. And as a result, we have to be able to rely on one another. And that means that I hold her accountable. She holds me accountable. I'm accountable to myself because I don't want to let her down. And all of this is happening with you guiding from the sideline saying, hey, yeah, this is exactly what you guys need to do. Or you're in that team meeting saying, hey, guys, this doesn't feel like a group effort. What's going on? So that we are able to keep that momentum going and continue to build each other's capacity.
Yes, Cora, it was every Monday for the town hall meetings, and I'll post some more about it too. The next point is that Black women have a high EQ, and this is instead of IQ, it's talking about emotional, which enables them to interact, influence, and build relationships across demographics. Their ability to gain access to crucial insider information from unusual suspects, administrative assistants, junior staff, and other functional areas are ensures their survival. So I think this fits into where we have heard statistics about the impact of Black leaders, period, just having that impact on more than just African American children, but it impacts everyone across cultures. So having that ability to be able to have the emotional intelligence to build relationships across any group is something that Black women possess and shouldn't be taken lightly.
Absolutely. And I love that it included administrative assistants,
Mhm.
junior staff, and other suspects, they called them, because that also is a strength. When you're able to work across your school from the custodians to the principal's office to motivate people to do their part in making this machine run smoothly, then you truly do possess the EQ to be able to relate to and to deal with and inspire and encourage and motivate everybody that is under your leadership to bring everything they have to the table to make this a spectacular place to work every day.
And one of the key words in that last one that I forgot to touch on when it said build, when we have to build our own capacities, and that is where sometimes we fall short. A lot of times we will, just think we can navigate through, we'll figure it out. That's where we fall short, where other people are intentional about making sure they are building themselves. They have mentors, they have people who are their accountability persons or people who are coaching them. And when you look at highly successful people, I saw a video that talked about Serena Williams and Tiger Woods, some of the greatest people in their crafts have a coach because they want somebody to continue to guide them along the journey and the path that they have decided to go on. And sometimes in education or in other fields, we sell ourselves short by not doing that. But the last thing before we run out of time, we have one more minute. Black women are resilient leaders, consistently overcoming challenges and obstacles before them. Even though they experience daily microaggressions as they navigate the political, cultural, and social dynamics of their corporate environments, their desire to lead remains unfettered. So we do experience microaggressions and we experience challenges and obstacles. Tammy and I experienced a great deal of that, but we continue, we remain resilient. We are not easily defeated. So that is what keeps organizations, people that are Black women that are leading organizations, keeps them where they need to be.
And of course, we love this because our framework is built upon resiliency. That's the reason we're here, because we were resilient enough to have the stay with itness to persevere and to resist all of the minutia that was coming, and to really just mute that background noise to say, we are on a mission. This is the task that lies before us, and we're committed to getting it done.
Well, thank you all for joining us. Please join Principal Kafele next. I know Principal Hurt is still out of town, so I think he'll be on Sunday. Join Josh and Dean as well on Sunday, and Roz and Coach Williams on Tuesdays. And we will continue this series for the rest of this month in honor of Women's History Month. Go to our website if you're interested in our mentorship program for Black women leaders and fill out the information form, and we will be in touch with you about when it starts and more information. Thank you all. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Yes, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. Again, happy Women's History Month. We're starting.
Definitely.